Hey, what's up, agents? Your Rictator back again, and today I want to discuss another question that was recently brought up on streams. Is should you return to Division 2 or should you pass altogether? So let's get into it. And of course, first off, I do want to say that if you enjoy my work and want to support the channel, I do ask that you subscribe and just drop a like below. It means the world to me because it does help in many ways, and it lets me know what you want to see more of, and for future content at that point as well. So a little backstory is that I originally played the hell out of the Division 2 at launch. I loved the new quality of life aspects compared to Division 1, the specialist classes, the new atmosphere in DC. But after reaching level 30 and hitting World Tier 5, I felt it was lacking. Even the raid was a struggle, and the group system for it was a no-go for me, sadly. So, I stepped back from the Division and played several other titles like, Tarkov, Destiny, Final Fantasy 14, Overwatch, Apex Legends, you name it. I kind of dabbled in it a little bit, but recently I decided to jump back into it. What caused the return, you may say? Honestly, the part I knew that would bring me back, and that is returning to New York City. So I jumped back into the Division 2 this week, and let me tell you something. There is so much more content now than there ever was after the initial title updates at that point. New clothing, new events, new weapons. There's so much going on, and not just regular events or regular weapons. It feels that everything meshes now. Honestly, if you never got in the Division, or you took a break from it a while after feeling it was lacking in content, or missing something, or went off to play other games as I did, that's fine. That you do you, that's perfectly fine. But I do say, give it a shot again, especially if you were watching this video and you're new, you're on the ropes about trying it or anything else. If you're new, Ubisoft has it for $3 for the base game. That's a lot of game for $3. Year 1 DLC I think is only $12 as well, and then the expansion for the year 2 content is going to be I think around $30 at that point. So basically you're going to get 2 years of content for the price of the initial launch game, which is pretty crazy. And there are so many more missions and so much more to do now than when people first put the game down after the initial raid. So let's talk about the new maps. Holy crap, they look great, they feel great. The video that you're displaying here, that you're watching here, is part of the Pentagon raid, or Stronghold. This is a blast of a mission. The outskirts were actually very cool as part of the night in the woods, shooting flares through the air, lighting everything. I mean, absolutely gorgeous and fun to play through. And I guess a little bit more about episode 1, that I just mentioned, the outskirts. It's a much greener environment. It's very rural, with college campuses you can go through, and a presidential retreat to take over, or take back from the Black Tusk. Episode 2, which I just mentioned, is the Pentagon. That's after the Black Tusk is regrouped. They're setting up a massive drilling operation here to access DARPA laboratories, and gather a bunch of tech around here, trying to bring back the threat of the green poison. This is a fun mission, I'll be honest. I ended up soloing it, which was even more fun. Gave it a little bit more of a challenge. It was great. But that does bring us to episode 3, the most recent title update, that everyone else is kind of excited about, with the announcement as well of the year 2 content. At the end of year 1, it's taking you back to Coney Island. Here we're trying to secure a virologist, I think from the Black Tusk. And he also that virologist has ties to the man that created the green poison, and it will bring you back across Aaron Keener. He was the rogue agent that helped cause all of this in Division 1, and got away. So a lot went on with this point. It's kind of bringing the story back around from Division 1 and bringing things together. So after the recent state of the game discussions that came out, I'm very interested in seeing future aspects of the game, and specifically qualities around the big Return to New York DLC, the Warlords of New York. I believe that drops on March 3rd, and also them upgrading to the new Loot 2.0 system. In short, with the Loot 2.0, it seems like everything is going to matter. You not only need you don't need armor sets really anymore. From what I saw, I guess, is that it's going to be easier to make builds. You can mix match things, and everything will have perks and everything guided to it. So you can create your player specifically as it is instead of having to worry about an armor set or things like that. Now, I've mentioned and discussed this during streams, with chat over on Twitch, or while we're playing this or anything else, and there was so much left in New York City before moving everything to D2 in Division 2, the beginning of the DC. Sorry. So when they moved to DC from New York, I felt like there was a lot of loose ends, and I mean it's a cool little difference from going from New York to here, but the big thing is, why. The setting of Division 1 was massive. It was very detailed, it was developed over time. There was no way they could scrap it. So I guess my question too, when they brought the Division 2 out, is they had to bring it back. They when they were going to bring it back. So my question is, I guess, with year 2 is, we're starting in Lower Manhattan. Do they continue to grow New York City how we had at that point, and give you, the two areas between New York and DC to constantly go back and explore? I think that would be amazing. Or maybe they're trying to push everything back to New York, and occasionally give us something in DC to go back for, which would be pretty cool as well. But of course, one of my bigger questions is, how deep are we really going back into New York City? Are we going to go back to those experiences and areas that, made us fall in love with the game? Now, of course, we're not going to have the snow-ridden apocalypse, which was an amazing setting at that point. But, now, of course, also, not everyone fell in love with the game at launch. But over the course of 3 years, the game, I do feel, solidified itself in, a great place to play. A great place to go, enjoy a game. It gave us survival, underground, a better loot system as it progressed, along with, the post-apocalyptic feel that, honestly, this story feels like it could be almost like a real life thing, sadly, which is pretty creepy. And that's one of the reasons I don't enjoy Tom Clancy games. But, what will they bring back in year 2 and going back to New York City? I feel that survival is a must. Survival is like Trials of Osiris and Destiny. It's the big one people love to do and the event people miss at this point. But other than that, I could see them possibly revamping the Dark Zone in New York City to be something bigger, maybe similar to the original Dark Zone in Division 1. But to be honest, they need to look at the PvE side of the game and see what made it popular at this point and try to continue that pace here. PvP in the Dark Zone does have its problems, but they can improve upon that, as well. And we could see that here in year 2 with New York City. So I'm looking forward to going back to New York, and I wanted to take this opportunity to, ask all of you here that, if you plan to play or, are continuing to play this game or returning to go back with New York, does it pique your curiosity? Is it that little bit of nostalgia similar to returning to Rapture and BioShock? What are you looking forward to and, going to do within the New York DLCs or episodes when they return? Let me know in the comments down below. I kind of want to ask that, and I want to see what everyone else is excited for, or are you just, done? But overall, I really like the state of the game currently and where it's going, specifically story-wise, with the new loot system. But there's always room for improvement, especially if you're a fan of looter shooters. I would give this game a try, especially for $3 for the base game. With the upgraded information and quality of life, I think you would really enjoy it. It's a good game to pass by. So anyways, that will do it for today's video. I do hope you enjoyed it and found it insightful from a returning player's perspective. But I do appreciate you watching today. Once again, if you have not already, hit that like button and subscribe button for future videos such as this. But anyways, I do appreciate you watching today. I hope everyone has an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.